Welcome, truly welcome to Chapter 10 of the Bhagavad Gita. I'm Satoshi, and it is an absolute privilege to embark on this journey of profound understanding with you.
And I'm Satosha, equally excited to be here as we unfold Chapter 10 of our ongoing conversation. There's a tangible energy about this particular discussion, a sense we want to unpack Chapter 10 in a way that hopefully connects with a younger audience.
Especially maybe those of you who think more scientifically, who are drawn to that kind of reasoning.
Which is great, because the Bhagavad Gita, when you really look at it, isn't just ancient philosophy. It's incredibly concise, a profound representation of what you could call Vedic science.
It truly is. It's like a framework for understanding reality itself. And honestly, we're only just scratching the surface.
So, Chapter 10, we've framed it as an ode to divine glories.
The core idea is that it really falls into two main parts, two big buckets, you could say.
Right. First, what is divine grace? What does that actually mean?
And second, what are these divine glories, the Vibhutis? How does the divine actually, show up? How can we see it in the world?
And it's important to see how we arrived here. This wasn't just plucked out of thin air. There's been a very careful buildup.
Oh, absolutely. Starting way back in Chapter 7.
Yeah, Chapter 7 laid the groundwork. The Lord meticulously covered the fundamentals, material nature, and the soul. His lower and upper natures, right?
It's like the binary of existence, almost. You have material nature coming from these three fundamental forces or qualities: sattva, rajas, tamas.
Clarity, action, inertia.
Exactly. And those lead to this eightfold material creation.
3 leading to 8. The 3 gunas generating the eightfold nature of reality in the Gita's cosmology.
It's a striking parallel, isn't it? You have the 3 quark flavors providing the basis for the eightfold way octets in particle physics.
The 3 fundamental particles combine to form everything.
Precisely. And understanding the origin of mass, how it condenses, how that creates gravity, shaping space-time itself, it feels like the blueprint is right there.
Okay, so that was 7. Then in Chapter 8, we took a different angle. We used the metaphor of a game.
Right. Explaining reality through that lens. We talked about the code, the Brahman.
The runtime environment, Adhidaiva.
The rules of the game, Adibhuta.
And importantly, your role, the conscious player, Ajatma.
And that amazing insight the creator isn't attached creates through Visarga, just letting go, no desire involved.
Which completely flips the script on purpose and attachment.
It really does, and that flowed so naturally into Chapter 9.
Where the focus shifted again. More practical, maybe. Direct instructions for us, the conscious beings navigating this whole thing.
Yeah, a path to attain the creator's essence. And the promise is huge. His devotee becomes one with him.
So you have the framework from 7, the game analogy and detachment from 8, the path to oneness in 9. What's next? What's the burning question?
Well, Arjuna, who represents all of us listening, right? He's getting it. He sees the structure. He understands the instructions. But then he asks that crucial, very human question.
Okay, I get it. But how do I know you? How do I see you? If I'm going to trust this, I need some way to visualize, to connect with what's behind it all.
Exactly, and put yourself in that position. You, listening right now, wouldn't you be asking the same thing at this point?
You'd want to know, okay, what is this divine grace everyone talks about?
And maybe even more importantly, how can I actually perceive it? How does it show up in my life?
That question, that need to perceive grace, it really sent us down a rabbit hole, didn't it?
Oh, it did. We put on our science hats, you could say.
Definitely. We really tried to figure out, okay, is there a real-world metaphor for divine grace? Because you hear the term everywhere, all religions, spiritual paths.
But, and this is the key thing, nobody really gives a clear definition. It remains kind of fuzzy.
So we thought, okay, let's define it by how it's universally described. What are its qualities?
And we landed on 4 things. Divine grace seems to be omnipresent.
Everywhere, all the time.
Yet mysterious.
We feel it, but can't quite pin down the why.
It's always perceivable.
We can experience its effects directly.
But ultimately unknowable.
Its true nature is beyond our complete grasp.
So the challenge was, find something in the real world, something tangible that fits all 4. Omnipresent, mysterious, perceivable, unknowable.
And honestly, the answer, when we found it, was kind of surprising, because it's something we all learned about pretty early on. Middle school science, even.
Gravity.
Gravity.
Yeah. So that's our proposal. Let's examine divine grace through the lens of gravity. But, and this is important.
Right, we're not just talking about Newton's apple falling.
No. We need to look at gravity as science understands it now, right at the cutting edge.
the frontiers of modern physics, because that's where the parallels become truly profound. Okay, so let's take those four qualities. First, omnipresent.
Easy enough, right?
Yeah.
We feel gravity constantly. It's everywhere on Earth. It holds the solar system together, the galaxy.
But here's where modern physics adds a layer. Think about string theory, for instance. It postulates extra dimensions, maybe even a multiverse.
Right, multiple universes.
Well, in some versions of that theory, gravity is unique. Other forces, like electromagnetism, might be stuck on our brain, our universe. But gravity, represented by closed strings, might be able to travel between these dimensions, across different universes.
Some interpretations do, like the brain world idea that our universe is like a sheet, a brain, maybe in higher dimensions. And in some of those models, gravity is unique. It's potentially the only force, mediated by these hypothetical closed strings or gravitons, that isn't stuck on our brain. It could travel into those extra dimensions, permeating other potential universes or realms.
Whereas the other sources, like light, are confined here.
That's the idea in those models. Gravity would be universally pervasive in a way nothing else is. Think of divine grace as this fundamental pervasive presence. Not limited to one spot, underpinning everything, maybe spanning realms beyond our perception.
Like gravity in those string theories.
It's a metaphor, of course, but a powerful one. So it could literally be the only force that permeates all of reality if a multiverse exists.
Exactly. Which takes omnipresence to a whole different level, doesn't it? Mirroring that all-pervading sense of divine grace.
Okay, that's omnipresent. What about mysterious?
Well, something's mysterious. We see its effects, but don't fully get the why. Newton gave us the equations, how it works.
FBG m1 mitter 2 r squared. We all learned that.
Right. But why does it work? Einstein gave us a deeper picture. It's not a pull. It's the geometry of space-time itself being curved by mass and energy.
Which is, well, it's hard to truly visualize four-dimensional space-time curving. It's inherently mysterious to our three-dimensional minds.
And the mystery goes deeper. Our best theory for other forces, quantum field theory, it works brilliantly for electromagnetism, the nuclear forces, but it breaks down for gravity.
It just doesn't fit.
It doesn't fit. We can't reconcile quantum mechanics and general relativity easily. We haven't definitively found the graviton, the particle that should carry the gravitational force, like the photon carries light.
So even our best physics struggles to explain it fundamentally.
Profoundly mysterious, just like divine grace often feels.
Okay, next, perceivable. This seems more straightforward.
Yeah, this one's probably the easiest. We all feel gravity. Every moment.
Yeah, nothing escapes it. Even light bends around massive objects because of gravity.
And its basic effects are calculable, even for a school kid. It's a constant, undeniable presence. You perceive it directly.
Right, so omnipresent, mysterious, perceivable, and finally, unknowable.
This ties back to the mystery, but goes further. To truly know gravity in its entirety, what would that take?
You'd need to perceive those extra dimensions string theory talks about, maybe.
Or travel to other universes. Or somehow comprehend all of space-time, past, present, future, as one single thing.
Basically.
Exist outside of time.
Which is, well, impossible for us as humans.
Precisely. So, in its deepest, truest sense, gravity remains fundamentally unknowable to us. We can describe it, predict it, use it, but we can't grasp its ultimate essence.
And it's that very unknowability that makes it such a powerful reflection, a metaphor for divine grace.
So if grace is this omnipresent, mysterious, perceivable, yet unknowable force, how do we connect with it? How do we see it?
And Krishna gives the answer, doesn't he? Through the Vibhutis, the divine glories.
Exactly. He says essentially, look at excellence. Look at the best of anything.
The sun among lights, the lion among beasts, the Himalayas among mountains.
The brilliance in a star, the genius in a person, the beauty in nature, an act of incredible courage or compassion.
All of these are sparks of that divine grace made manifest. They shine because of it.
And by learning to recognize that divine spark, that vibhuti in everything excellent around you,
you start to get a feel for the grace itself, its vastness, its mystery, its presence.
How gravity pulls matter, physical stuff, and drawing a line to how divine grace might attract our minds, our consciousness through, well, divine glories.
So our hope, really, with this teaser, this prelude,
is that maybe looking at grace through this lens of gravity, especially at the frontiers of science and this cosmic drama,
gives you a new appreciation, a sense of the true magic, the depth, the relevance of divine grace in a way that feels, well, tangible.
All right. I'm Satosha.
And I'm Satoshi.
Okay, so with that framework, let's dive into Chapter 10. So the Blessed Lord starts by speaking directly to Arjuna, setting the stage almost.
Hark, Arjuna, thou mighty armed and brave of heart, my supreme word I shall again impart. For to my soul art thou exceeding dear, and for thy welfare this truth I speak, without a fear.
It's striking how personal that is right from the start. This isn't just abstract teaching.
Not at all. He's saying, I'm telling you this because you're dear to me and it's for your highest good. It's an act of love, of grace, really, which sets the stage perfectly for talking about glories born from grace.
Hark, Arjuna, thou mighty armed and brave of heart, my supreme word I shall again impart. For to my soul art thou exceeding dear, and for thy welfare this truth I speak, without a fear.
Then he immediately addresses the limits of understanding his origin, even for very high beings.
Okay.
Stanza 2, verse 2. Nor godly hosts, nor sages great and old, my true beginning can they e'er behold, for I am verily the fount of all, of gods and great sages answering my call.
So basically, he's beyond comprehension in terms of origin, because he is the origin.
They can't grasp his beginning because he's the source of them.
The ultimate cosmic irony, perhaps.
And isn't there that story about Einstein and the cosmological constant?
Yes, because his original equations predicted an expanding or contracting universe, and the prevailing view then was that the universe was static, unchanging. He put the constant in to force his theory to match that static idea.
He basically fudged the numbers to fit the belief.
You could say that. He later called it his biggest blunder. Now, that very cosmological constant, his blunder, is the leading mathematical tool we use to describe dark energy, the force driving accelerated expansion.
So his original equations were actually closer to the truth all along.
It seems so. It's like the universe itself, or the divine intelligence behind it, knew better. The truth was woven into the math, waiting for us to catch up.
Reality outsmarted the smartest scientist of the age. That's quite something.
It really is. Nor godly hosts, nor sages great and old, my true beginning can they e'er behold. For I am verily the fount of all, of gods and great sages answering my call.
And understanding this has a real effect, a transformative power. That's the next stanza.
Stanza 3, verse 3.
He who doth know me, unborn, without beginning's trace, the great Lord of all worlds in time and boundless space, undiluted mongst frail mortals shall he be, from all his grievous sins completely set quite free. This grand achievement know, my precious gift, so true.
So knowing the Lord is unborn as the source actually frees you from delusion, from sin.
That's the core message here. Recognizing his true nature, this unborn, beginningless nature as the Lord of everything, is the key to overcoming delusion in our mortal lives. And it's presented as a gift, a grand achievement that liberates, right? Understanding changes everything.
He who doth know me, unborn, without beginning's trace, the great Lord of all worlds, in time and boundless space, undiluted mongst frail mortals shall he be, from all his grievous sins completely set quite free. This grand achievement know, my precious gift. So true.
And from this ultimate source, while everything flows, all the qualities we see.
Yeah, okay. Stanza 4, verse 4.
From me alone, diverse virtues find their rise, within all beings, neath the watchful guiding skies.
These qualities of divine contemplation fair. Their absence doth a demon's trait declare.
That last line always hits me. Their absence doth a demon's trait declare. It's so direct. It's not subtle.
No, it isn't. And that's really the core of it. The verse sets up this binary. On one hand, you have these diverse virtues, these qualities of divine contemplation.
Which we can think of as grace.
Yes, exactly, grace. It's like a divine presence, a unifying force. Think harmony, creativity, goodness, all the things that build up, that connect. In the tradition, it's called Divi Sampad, divine wealth, essentially.
Okay, the force that brings things together.
Right. But then the verse is very clear. The absence of these qualities, the absence of this grace, that's something else entirely.
The demoniac trait.
Precisely. It signifies an opposing nature, a force of, well, dissolution, disintegration, things that pull apart, create chaos, lead to collapse. That's the Asuri Sampad demonic qualities.
So a very clear distinction. Presence equals unifying grace. Absence equals this destructive, separating force.
Exactly. And here's where it gets kind of mind-bending. This spiritual concept have an almost eerily precise parallel in physics.
Okay, I'm ready. How does this play out in the cosmos?
Well, think about it. Just like the divine presence leads to grace, the presence of matter in the universe leads to gravity.
Okay. The force of attraction.
The ultimate unifying force in the cosmos. Mass, matter itself, you could almost see it as representing the divine in this analogy. And gravity is its effect, its grace pulling everything together.
Building galaxies, solar systems, holding it all together like the Davy sandpad.
You got it. Gravity is the cosmic expression of that unifying principle. It's the builder.
So following that logic, what about the absence of grace?
Okay, so what happens in the universe where matter is absent? What do we find in seemingly empty space? This is exactly where the other part comes in. In the vast stretches of space where matter is sparse or absent, we find this pervasive force acting like anti-gravity. So the absence of matter, mirroring the absence of the divine presence, corresponds to this repulsive force. It's driven by what we now call dark energy.
So dark energy is like the force of dissolution, pushing everything apart.
That's the parallel. It's the force driving things apart, leading towards expansion, and ultimately maybe a kind of cosmic disintegration, depending on how it plays out. It's the great cosmic separator.
And the science behind dark energy. It's not just a wild idea, is it? I mean, it sounds incredible, an anti-gravity force everywhere.
No, it's absolutely central to modern cosmology now. It's understood to be ubiquitous, like woven into space itself, everywhere.
But we can't see it.
Right. It's totally invisible. We don't detect particles of it. It doesn't interact with light. We only know it's there because of its effect on the universe as a whole. The accelerating expansion. That's the key piece of evidence. See, gravity, from all the matter, should be slowing the expansion down. But observations, starting in the late 90s, showed the opposite. It's speeding up.
So something must be pushing outwards, overpowering gravity on the largest scales.
Exactly. A repulsive force. And the best explanation we have for that, the leading candidate, is, well, brings us back to Einstein.
The cosmological constant.
Cosmological constant. It fits perfectly. It basically represents the energy inherent in empty space itself.
So as space expands, you get more empty space.
Which means you get more dark energy, which pushes things apart even faster. It's this feedback loop driving the acceleration.
And scientists are sure about this, even though it's invisible.
The consensus is overwhelming. The evidence for accelerating expansion, and therefore for something like dark energy causing it, is considered, rock solid. It's a 100% accepted part of the standard cosmological model.
Even though we can't directly perceive it?
Even though we can't directly perceive it, its effects are undeniable.
So the dominant force shaping the universe's fate is this invisible, repulsive energy.
Pretty much. It's steering the ship right now.
Which loops back beautifully, or perhaps ironically, to Einstein and his biggest blunder.
It really does, because he first put that constant into his equations way back in 1917.
But not because he predicted dark energy?
No, completely the opposite. His theory of general relativity naturally predicted a dynamic universe expanding or contracting. But the belief back then was that the universe was static, unchanging. He wanted his math to reflect the accepted view.
And then Hubble came along.
A decade or so later, Edwin Hubble provides evidence the universe is expanding. And Einstein famously said, okay, ditch the constant. That was my biggest blunder. He thought he'd missed the chance to predict the expansion. Fast forward all the way to 1998, astronomers discovered the expansion isn't just happening, it's accelerating. And suddenly, they need a repulsive force in the equations.
And there it was, his blunder.
His blunder. The cosmological constant was the perfect mathematical description for this mysterious dark energy, this anti-gravity inherent in space itself. It's like the universe, or the math describing it, knew better all along.
The truth was embedded in the equations, waiting for us to catch up and see it. Amazing.
It really is. So you see this profound resonance. Ancient wisdom talks about grace, this unifying divine quality, and its opposite, a force of dissolution when grace is absent.
And modern physics finds gravity, the great unifier associated with matter, and its opposite, dark energy, this repulsive force associated with the absence of matter and empty space.
The parallel is just striking. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Are these just neat analogies, or is there something deeper connecting the spiritual and the physical fabric of reality?
Yeah, it suggests maybe these aren't separate domains, but different expressions of the same underlying principles. The forces that build and the forces that pull apart. What are the forces in your own life? What pulls things together for you? Relationships, projects, your sense of self? And what are the forces that tend to push things apart, that lead towards separation, or maybe even chaos?
It's something worth reflecting on, definitely. The cosmic dance playing out in our own experience.
Absolutely.
From me alone, diverse virtues find their rise within all beings, neath the watchful guiding skies. These qualities of divine contemplation fair, their absence doth the demon's trait declare.
And now comes that list. It's quite extensive.
Stanza 5, verse 5.
Decisive intellect, keen and bright. Knowledge by realization blessed. Freedom from delusion, prudently addressed towards the goal. Forgiveness, gentle, meek, and mild. Eternal truth, eternal, undefiled. Control of senses, held in tranquil sway. Pacification of the mind for inner day. Inner contentment, pleasure's gleam. Troubles on contemplation's path, sorrow's dream. Awakening of the supreme self, or realization of one's true nature, existence grand. Dissolution of everything in time, non-existence at hand. Disciplinary fear towards the chosen deity, fear's sway. Fearlessness from nature, come what may. Non-violence, conduct preventing soul's descent. Equanimity, where there is no disparity, perfect and unbent. Contentment, mind and senses aligned. Austerity, for spirit intertwined. Charity, complete surrender on the divine path, surrendering all. Enduring honor and dishonor at my call.
Wow, that's a lot. It covers everything from intellect and knowledge to forgiveness, truth, controlling the senses, even dealing with troubles and the reality of dissolution and time.
The sheer range. He's saying all of these states and qualities, the positive virtues, the cognitive faculties, even the capacity to face difficulties and impermanence, the ability to endure honor and dishonor, they all originate from him.
Let's hear that again.
Decisive intellect, keen and bright. Knowledge by realization blessed. Freedom from delusion, prudently addressed towards the goal. Forgiveness, gentle, meek, and mild. Eternal truth, eternal, undefiled. Control of senses, held in tranquil sway. Pacification of the mind, for inner day. Inner contentment, pleasure's gleam. Troubles on contemplation's path, sorrow's dream. Awakening of the supreme self, or realization of one's true nature, existence grand. Dissolution of everything in time, non-existence at hand. Disciplinary fear towards the chosen deity, fear's sway. Fearlessness from nature, come what may. Nonviolence, conduct preventing soul's descent. Equanimity, where there is no disparity, perfect and unbent. Contentment, mind and senses aligned. Austerity, for spirit intertwined. Charity, complete surrender on the divine path, surrendering all. Enduring honor and dishonor at my call. And this divine source extends even to the great progenitors, the guides of humanity.
Okay, stanza 6, verse 6.
The 7 great sages of ancient lore, and 4 Manus, seen in ages gone before, from my own mind, by my resolve they came to be, born of my nature, by my inspiration free, both are complementary to attain and thrive.
From my own mind, by my resolve. That emphasizes a non-physical origin, doesn't it? Like a mental creation.
Exactly. And the chapter adds that crucial detail. They're complementary to attain and thrive, suggesting they embody different essential aspects of the path or the cosmic functioning.
So the poetry grounds it in recognized cosmic history, but points clearly to the divine will behind it. The 7 great sages of ancient lore, and 4 Manus, seen in ages gone before, from my own mind, by my resolve they came to be, born of my nature, by my inspiration free. Both are complementary to attain and thrive.
And understanding all this, his glory, his power is key for the seeker.
Right, the practical application. Stanza 7, verse 7.
My divine glory and my yogic power, who truly knows with direct realization's light, becomes endowed with unwavering yoga, fixed and pure, no doubt remains, forever standing sure. As lamps flame steady in windless air, so yogi's mind is there.
So knowing this glory and power, but it says direct realization's light, not just intellectual knowing.
And the result of that deep experiential knowing is unwavering yoga, a perfectly steady mind, like that classic image of a flame in a windless place. Deep understanding brings deep stability.
My divine glory and my yogic power, who truly knows with direct realization's light, becomes endowed with unwavering yoga, fixed and pure, no doubt remains, forever standing sure. As lamps flame steady in windless air, so yogi's mind is there.
And that stability comes from grasping the fundamental truth of his nature.
Stanza 8, verse 8.
I am the origin of all, the primal cause. From me all worlds proceed, without a moment's pause. Knowing this truth, the wise, with faith and love entwined, constantly worship me, their hearts to me resign.
Origin of all, the primal cause, reinforcing his absolute position.
Yes, similar to stanza 2, but here it leads into devotion. Everything proceeds from him without a moment's pause. Continuous, effortless creation.
And the core idea is the link. Knowing this truth, that he is the absolute origin.
Naturally leads to devotion. The wise who grasp this respond with faith and love entwined.
It's not just intellectual, it fuels practice. Constantly worship me, their hearts to me resigned. Their whole being orients towards the source.
That's the connection the Gita consistently makes. Deep metaphysical understanding naturally flowers into heartfelt devotion.
I am the origin of all, the primal cause. From me, all worlds proceed without a moment's pause. Knowing this truth, the wise with faith and love entwined constantly worship me, their hearts to me resigned.
And this devotion isn't dry or dutiful, it brings its own reward.
Okay, how so? Stanza 9, verse 9.
With minds on me, their lives to me consigned, enlightening each other with me enshrined, constantly speaking of my praise, my name, they find contentment and rejoice in spirit's flame. No other place they give, their life's breath fixed on me, they grow.
This gives such a vivid picture of that devoted life, the embodiment of Krishna consciousness. Their whole focus is the divine.
Exactly. The core characteristics are laid out. Minds on me, their lives to me consigned, total dedication, surrender thoughts and actions aligned with the source.
And I like the communal aspect. Enlighten each other with me enshrined. With minds on me, their lives to me consigned, enlightening each other with me enshrined. Constantly speaking of my praise, my name, they find contentment and rejoice in spirit's flame. No other place they give, their life's breath fixed on me, they grow. Spirit's flame, that's a lovely image for inner joy.
It is. The poetry paints a picture of a life that's vibrant, rich, and centered.
It shows you, the listener, what a life oriented towards the divine might look like. Not necessarily austere, but full of connection, remembrance, deep contentment, and joy. It's an inspiring vision.
And it's not a one-way street. To those devoted, full of love's pure ray, who worship me throughout each passing day, I grant the understanding that guides to yoga's light, by which they truly come to me and end their plight.
The core idea is that active divine grace. He grants the understanding that guides to yoga's light. He even repeats it for emphasis, that intelligence which guides.
It's not just raw IQ, is it? It's a specific, intuitive inner guidance.
To those devoted, full of love's pure ray, who worship me throughout each passing day, I grant the understanding that guides to yoga's light, by which they truly come to me and end their plight.
And this guidance is incredibly intimate.
Stanza 11, verse 11.
To show them grace in every yearning soul I dwell within, to make them truly whole. The darkness born of ignorance, vast and deep, I banish with a lamp, its radiance steep, of shining knowledge, luminous and clear. As charioteer, I'm ever near to quell their fear.
I dwell within. That's so powerful. He's not distant. He's right there, inside.
And that image of the charioteer, guiding, steering, protecting from within, it's a constant, loving presence. As charioteer, I'm ever near to quell their fear.
Directly referencing Krishna and Arjuna on the battlefield.
Exactly. It signifies divine guidance, protection, removing fear, just like Krishna guides Arjuna in his crisis.
To show them grace, in every yearning soul I dwell within, to make them truly whole. The darkness born of ignorance, vast and deep, I banish with a lamp, its radiance steep, of shining knowledge, luminous and clear. As charioteer, I'm ever near to quell their fear.
So after hearing all this, Arjuna is clearly moved. His response is one of profound acceptance.
Arjuna said, stanza 12, verse 12.
Thou art the Brahman, supreme and pure, the highest abode, forever to endure, eternal divine person, the primeval God, unborn and all-pervading, wisely trod.
He just echoes back everything the Lord said about his nature. Supreme Brahman, highest abode, eternal, unborn, all-pervading. He gets it.
He absolutely does. It's a complete affirmation of the Lord's self-description. He recognizes him as the ultimate reality.
Thou art the Brahman, supreme and pure, the highest abode, forever to endure, eternal divine person, the primeval God, unborn and all-pervading, wisely trod.
And he notes that this isn't just his own realization, but it aligns with the wisdom of the great sages.
Yes.
Stanza 13, verse 13. All sages speak of thee in this grand way, Narada, Asita, Devala, Vyasa say, and thou thyself to me dost now declare this truth beyond all mortal worldly care. Supreme person and supreme abode are one, divine person, unborn and primeval word by them are also spun.
Now he adds another layer of validation. This aligns with what the great sages taught.
Right. He names specific, highly respected sages, Narada, Asita, Devala, Vyasa. Invoking these authorities gives huge weight to the Lord's words. The core idea is that this isn't some brand new, isolated teaching. It confirms timeless wisdom.
But he also stresses the privilege of hearing it directly. And thou, thyself, to me dost now declare, he sees it as truth beyond all mortal worldly care. transcendental. All sages speak of thee in this grand way, Narada, Asita, Devala, Vyasa say. And thou thyself to me dost now declare this truth beyond all mortal worldly care. Supreme person and supreme abode are one, divine person, unborn and primeval word, by them are also spun.
And based on all that, his trust is complete.
Stanza 14, verse 14.
What thou hast spoken, Cassava, my dear Lord, I deem as truth, with perfect sure accord. For neither gods nor demons understand thy manifestation throughout all the land.
I deem as truth. He accepts it fully. And he calls him Cassava, that personal name. He trusts him because he understands that the Lord's full manifestation is actually beyond the grasp of even gods and demons.
Exactly. He recognizes the uniqueness and depth of this revelation. It's something only the Lord himself could fully convey, and that requires faith to accept, because ordinary comprehension fails.
What thou hast spoken, Cassava, my dear Lord, I deem as truth, with perfect sure accord. For neither gods nor demons understand thy manifestation throughout all the land.
And he acknowledges where the ultimate knowledge comes from.
Stanza 15, verse 15.
Thou knowest thyself by thine own grace alone, O Supreme Person, on every living throne, Creator of beings, Lord of all that live, God of all gods, all thou canst truly give, Lord of the universe, so grand, so vast, whom thou awakenest knows thee by thy own hand cast.
Thou knowest thyself by thine own grace alone. That's key, isn't it? Divine knowledge isn't figured out, it's self-revealed.
And importantly, Arjuna recognizes that even the ability for others to know him is an act of the Lord's grace and awakening bestowed by him.
Thou knowest thyself by thine own grace alone, O Supreme Person on every living throne, Creator of beings, Lord of all that live, God of all gods, all thou canst truly give, Lord of the universe, so grand, so vast, whom thou awakenest knows thee by thy own hand cast.
So, having established this deep understanding and acceptance, Arjuna's focus shifts. Now he wants the practical details.
Right. How does this all-pervading reality actually connect with me? How do I connect with it? Stanza 16, verse 16.
Please tell me now, in full and grand detail, thy divine glories which shall never fail, by which thou dost permeate and steadfast stand, pervading all this world throughout the land.
Okay, so here it is, the big ask. Tell me the specifics. What are these divine glories, these Vibhutis, through which you permeate everything?
He wants the map. He understands the territory is infinite, but he needs the landmarks, the ways to recognize the divine presence in the manifest world.
Please tell me now, in full and grand detail, by divine glories which shall never fail, by which thou dost permeate and steadfast stand, pervading all this world throughout the land.
And he gets even more specific about his own practice.
Stanza 17, verse 17.
How may I know thee, yogi, wise and deep, with constant thought, while waking or in sleep? In what specific forms, O blessed Lord, should I contemplate thee with one accord? He addresses the Lord as yogi, wise and deep, acknowledging his mastery and ability to guide this practice.
How may I know thee with constant thought? And in what specific forms should I contemplate thee? He's asking for direct guidance on meditation, on focus. Where should he put his attention?
It's the seeker's fundamental question, isn't it? Okay, I accept this vast truth, but how do I make it real in my moment-to-moment awareness? What do I hold in my mind?
How may I know thee, yogi, wise and deep, with constant thought, while waking or in sleep? In what specific forms, O blessed Lord, should I contemplate thee with one accord?
And he's really eager to hear more.
Clearly. Stanza 18, verse 18.
Thy yogic power and thy glory's might again recount with all thy radiant light. For listening to thy nectar speech, so rare, of immortality, I'll never reach satiety, though briefly told before, I yearn for more.
He calls the Lord's words nectar speech. Nectar speech.
Yeah.
Suggesting it's life-giving, eternal, deeply nourishing, not just info, but spiritual food.
And he says he'll never reach satiety. He'll never get enough. Even though the Lord spoke before, I yearn for more. It shows intense spiritual longing. He's experiencing the transformative power directly and just wants to absorb more of that yogic power and glory.
Thy yogic power and thy glory's might, again recount, with all thy radiant light. For listening to thy nectar speech so rare, of immortality, I'll never reach satiety, though briefly told before, I yearn for more.
So Arjuna's core question hangs in the air. How does the divine permeate everything? How can I know you through specific forms? Where should I look?
Right. How does he manifest? What are the Vibhutis?
The blessed Lord said, stanza 19, verse 19, Yes, best of Kurus, hearken to my plea, my divine glories I avow to thee. The prominent ones I shall now impart, for endless are my forms from the very start.
He agrees. Again, that affectionate address, best of Kurus. He'll share the Vibhutis.
But with that crucial qualification right at the start. The prominent ones I shall now impart. Why? For endless are my forms.
So the list isn't everything, just the highlights.
Exactly. It's representative. His manifestations are boundless, infinite. The list gives examples, focal points where his glory shines brightly, aids for contemplation like Arjuna asked for, but the divine can potentially be seen everywhere. He's pointing out the peaks so we can get a sense of the whole mountain range, you know?
Yes, best of Kurus, hearken to my plea, my divine glories I avow to thee. The prominent ones I shall now impart, for endless are my forms from the very start.
And he starts with the most fundamental glory, the absolute foundation.
Stanza 20, verse 20.
I am the self, O Gudakesha Arjuna, in every heart concealed, of all beings, a vital part revealed. I am their beginning, middle, and their end. Their birth, life, and death on me, they all depend.
I am the self, in every heart concealed. That's the ultimate Vibhuti, isn't it? He's saying his core presence is the consciousness within every single being.
It covers both immanence within us and transcendence, source and end of all.
So the first place to look is within, and also recognize him as the process of life itself.
Beautifully summarized.
I am the self, O Gudakesha, Arjuna, in every heart concealed, of all beings a vital part revealed. I am their beginning, middle, and their end. Their birth, life, and death on me, they all depend.
From that core truth, he starts giving specific examples, category by category, starting with celestial beings.
Stanza 21, verse 21.
Of Adityas Vishnu am I truly seen, of luminaries the radiant sun serene. Among the Maruts, Marichi stands full fair, of constellations moon commands the air.
Starting with cosmic beings and nature. Among Adityas, solar deities, he's Vishnu the preserver aspect.
Among light givers, he's the sun, the most radiant, powerful source. Among Maruts wind deities, he's Marichi, a leader. Among constellations, he's the moon prominent, beautiful, the best, the brightest, the leader.
Of Adityas, Vishnu am I truly seen. Of luminaries, the radiant sun serene. Among the Maruts, Marichi stands full fair. Of constellations, moon commands the air.
And he continues, mixing outer and inner realities.
Stanza 22, verse 22.
Of Vedas, Samaveta's grace I hold, which equanimity grants as truths unfold. Of gods, Indra, their majestic lord. Of senses, mind, with one complete accord. Of beings all, consciousness I am, the core, their very being, blessed evermore.
Okay, so the Samaveta for its calming effect. Indra as chief of gods, but then the mind among the senses, and consciousness itself.
Yes, this is crucial. He's not just out there in the cosmos or scriptures. He is the mind, our tool of perception. And even more fundamentally, he is the consciousness that animates all beings. The divine is our innermost essence.
Of Vedas, Samveta's grace I hold, which equanimity grants as truths unfold. Of gods, Indra, their majestic lord. Of senses, mind, with one complete accord. Of beings all, consciousness I am, the core, their very being blessed evermore.
Moving through different kinds of power and forms.
In stanza 23, verse 23.
Of Rudras, Shiva, divine and grand. Of Yakshas and Rakshasas, Kubera, wealth's command. Of Vasu's fire, the bright and sacred gleam. Of mountains, Sumeru, a glorious, lofty dream.
Covering different classes now. Among Rudras, deities of transformation, he's Shiva, ultimate transformative power.
Among Yakshas and Rakshasas, nature spirits and demons, he's Kubera, the lord of wealth. Interesting divine glory reflected even in material prosperity and its controller.
Suggests peak wealth or power can reflect the divine.
Yes. Among Vasas, elemental deities, he's fire fundamental, purifying, transformative. Among mountains, he's Sumeru, the mythical central axis, ultimate stability, height, cosmic structure.
So the core idea, divine glory in transformative forces. Shiva, controlling resources, Kubera. Essential elements, fire, and cosmic structures, Sumeru. Manifesting as power, wealth, elemental force, structure.
It's a pattern showing the divine as the pinnacle in every category he mentions.
Of Rudras, Shiva, divine and grand. Of Yakshas and Rakshasas, Kubera, wealth's command. Of Vasas, fire, the bright and sacred gleam. Of mountains, Sumeru, a glorious, lofty dream.
Next, wisdom, might, and vastness.
Stanza 24, verse 24.
Of priests, know me as Bresapati, wise and old, who transmits divine wealth as sacred truths unfold. Of generals, Kartikeya, great in might. Of lakes, the ocean, shining ever bright.
Now figures of wisdom, power, natural vastness. Among priests, he's Brihaspati, guru of the gods.
Renowned for wisdom, and the chapter notes he transmits divine wealth, linking knowledge to spiritual prosperity.
Among generals, he's Kartikeya, commander of the gods, supreme strategic power, leadership.
Among bodies of water, he's the ocean, vast, deep, mysterious source of all, symbol of the infinite.
So divine glory and wisdom transmission, Brihaspati, strategic leadership, Kartikeya, and immense natural scale and mystery, ocean. Of priests, Nomi is a Brahsati, wise and old, who transmits divine wealth as sacred truths unfold. Of generals, Kartikeya, great in might. Of lakes, the ocean shining ever bright.
Then key spiritual elements.
Stanza 25, verse 25.
Of great sages, Bhrigu, profound and vast. Of words, the single syllable Om, truly cast, the indicative of Brahman, grand and true. Of sacrifices, sacrifice of silent repetition too. Of moveless things, Himalaya's towering height.
Bhrigu among sages, the sacred syllable Om, the practice of japa, silent repetition, and the steadfast Himalaya.
Right. Divine presence and spiritual lineage, the ultimate sound symbol, a core spiritual practice, and immovable natural grandeur.
Of great sages, Bhrigu, profound and vast. Of words, the single syllable Om, truly cast, the indicative of Brahman, grand and true. Of sacrifices, sacrifice of silent repetition too. Of moveless things, Himalaya's towering height.
Then examples from life, divine arts, and realization.
Stanza 26, verse 26.
Of trees, the people tree, ancient, broad, and old. Of divine sages, Narada, pure and bold. Of Gandharvas, Chicharatha, with graceful flair. Of Siddhas, Kapila, beyond all compare.
Plants, divine messengers, artists, perfected beings. Among Crees, the people tree sacred, associated with enlightenment.
Among divine sages, Narada, pure devotion, messenger, constantly singing glories. Among Gandharvas, celestial musicians, he's Chicharatha, master of artistic excellence.
Among seas, perfected beings, he's a Kapila, founder of Samkhya, pinnacle of realized philosophical wisdom. Of trees, the people tree, ancient, broad, and old. Of divine sages, Narada, pure and bold. Of Gandharvas, Chicharatha, with graceful flair. Of Siddhas, Kapila, beyond all compare.
How excellent creatures in human society.
Stanza 27, verse 27.
Of horses, Uchai-shravas, from nectar born. Of elephants, Airavata, by gods adorned. And among men, the king, regal and grand, my essence shines throughout the vast and varied land.
Excellent animals, mythical and real, and human society. Among horses, Uchai-shravas, the mythical best, born from nectar.
Among elephants, Airavata, Indra's celestial white elephant, symbol of power and regality. And importantly, among men, he is the king representing teak human authority, governance, responsibility.
So divine glory and exceptional power and majesty, whether mythical, Uchai-shravas, Airavata, or human, the king. His essence shines in these peak examples.
And including the king is interesting. Glory reflected even in worldly power roles when they embody excellence and justice, not just spiritual figures.
Of horses, Uchai-shravas, from nectar born. Of elephants, Airavata, by gods adorned. And among men, the king, regal and grand, my essence shines throughout the vast and varied land.
Powerful forces and hidden beings next.
Stanza 28, verse 28.
Of weapons, thunderbolt, with thunder's mighty roar. Of cows, wish-fulfilling cow forevermore. Of procreators, god of love, everywhere, manifesting new situations beyond compare. Of serpents, Vasuki, in every hidden part.
Power, abundance, creation, primal forces. Among weapons, the thunderbolt, Vajra, irresistible cosmic force.
Among cows, symbols of sustenance, the wish-fulfilling cow, Kamatinu, unlimited abundance, divine provision.
Among procreators, the god of love, Kamadeva, because he sparks creation.
Yes, the chapter says he's significant for manifesting new situations, a divine impulse behind continuous creation and new possibilities.
Among serpents, primal energy, he's Vasuki, king of serpents, fundamental cosmic energies.
So divine glory and ultimate power, Thunderbolt, unlimited abundance, Kamadhenu, the force of creation attraction, Kamadeva, and primal cosmic energies, Vasuki.
Of weapons, thunderbolt with thunder's mighty roar. Of cows, wish-fulfilling cow forevermore. Of procreators, god of love everywhere, manifesting new situations beyond compare. Of serpents, Vasuki, in every hidden part.
Cosmic roles and regulators.
Stanza 29, verse 29.
Of Nagas, Ananta, vast and deep, unknown. Of water beings, Varuna, upon his watery throne. Of ancestors, Aryama, the peace they bring. Of controllers, Yama, the death god's regulating wing, regulator of the restraints through the land's deep spring.
Deep support, water, lineage, cosmic order. Among Nagas, serpentine beings, he's Ananta, Shesha, infinite cosmic support, boundlessness.
Among water deities, Varuna, cosmic order, righteousness, vastness of waters. Among ancestors, Aryama, leader of that realm, significance of lineage, tradition.
And among controllers, Yama, god of death and justice. Described specifically as
regulator of the restraints. This links him directly to cosmic order, consequences, boundaries, like the game policies from Chapter 8. Yama represents a necessary part of the structure.
So identifying Yama as a glory means seeing the divine principle even in things like regulation, consequence, death.
Exactly. They're part of the ordered framework.
Of Nagas, Ananta, vast and deep, unknown. of water beings, Varuna, upon his watery throne, of ancestors, Aryama, the peace they bring, of controllers, Yama, the death god's regulating wing, regulator of the restraints through the land's deep spring.
Now comes a really striking one.
Oh, stanza 30, verse 30.
Of Daitya's demons, Prahlada, pure in heart and true, of reckoners, time ever fleeting, ever new, of beasts, the lion king of the wild domain, of birds, Garuda, not a son without a stain.
Some surprising categories here. Even demons.
Yes. Among Daityas, he's Prahlada, the demon prince who is a supreme devotee despite everything. It powerfully shows divine connection can appear anywhere, even amidst opposition.
Among reckoners, measurers, he is time. Kala, that's huge.
Profound. Time governs change, decay, dissolution. Linking back to stanza 5, dissolution, and chapter 8's cycles, seeing time as a glory means recognizing divine power in its relentless flow and transformation.
Among beasts, the lion king, supreme strength, courage. Among birds, Garuda, Vishnu's eagle vehicle, speed, strength, loyalty, divine service.
So glory and unexpected devotion, Prahlada, fundamental cosmic principles, time, and peak power divine association in animal mythical realms, lion Garuda.
Demons, Prahlada, pure in heart and true. Of reckoners, time, ever fleeting, ever new. Of beasts, the lion, king of the wild domain. Of birds, Garuda, Vinata's son, without a stain.
More from nature and human ideals.
Stanza 31, verse 31.
Of purifiers, wind that breathes so free. Of weapon wielders, Rama is verily me. Of fishes, crocodile with powerful might. Of rivers, Ganga, sacred, pure and bright.
The purifying wind, the ideal warrior, King Rama, the power of the crocodile, the sacred Ganga River.
Presence in natural forces, righteous action, primal strength, and sacred purity.
Of purifiers, wind that breathes so free. Of weapon wielders, Rama is verily me. Of fishes, crocodile with powerful might. Of rivers, Ganga, sacred, pure and bright.
Reaffirming the universal and touching on knowledge.
Stanza 32, verse 32.
Of all creations, I'm the start, the end, the middle too. O Arjuna, know this truth profound and new. Science is the science of the self, so clear. Of debaters, the logical argument without a fear. Decisive in discussions about Brahman, keen and bright, so I appear.
He repeats that he's the beginning, middle, and end of all creations. And then the science of the self, Atma Vidya. And even the decisive logical argument in spiritual debates.
Yes, it shows the divine not just in intuitive knowing, but also in the rigorous application of intellect toward understanding the ultimate truth. Clear, decisive reasoning about Brahman is also a Vibhuti.
Of all creations, I'm the start, the end, the middle too. O Arjuna, know this truth, profound and new. Of sciences, the science of the self, so clear. Of debaters, the logical argument without a fear. Decisive in discussions about Brahman, keen and bright, so I appear.
Fundamental building blocks now.
Stanza 33, verse 33.
Of letters, A, the primal sacred sound, Om, indicative of Brahman all around. Of compounds, dual compound, paired and strong, I am unending time, lifelong. The sustainer with faces everywhere, behold, omnipresent preserver and nourisher, stories told.
Language foundations, cosmic principle, pervasive presence. Among letters, A, Akara, the first fundamental sound.
Linking to Om again, indicative of Brahman. Hierarchy from basic sound A to the encapsulating Om. Among grammatical compounds, the dual compound representing pairs, essential relationships.
And I am unending time, lifelong, connecting to time as reckoner, stanza 30, but stressing its eternal, boundless nature.
And that powerful summary. The sustainer, with faces everywhere, omnipresent preserver and nourisher, his constant omnipresent role maintaining everything.
Of letters, A, the primal sacred sound, Om, indicative of Brahman, all around. Of compounds, dual compound, paired and strong, I am unending time, lifelong. The sustainer, with faces everywhere, behold, omnipresent preserver and nourisher, stories told.
Then, forces of nature and key human, especially feminine qualities.
Stanza 34, verse 34.
Death, the all-devouring I am called, in solemn truth, and future's origin from earliest youth. Among women, fame and prosperity, grace divine, speech, memory, intelligence softly shine. Steadfastness and forgiveness, too, these noble qualities for me accrue.
Okay, he is death, the devourer, but also the origin of the future. And then specifically lists virtues like fame, prosperity, speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, forgiveness among women.
Yes, it highlights these specific virtues and acknowledges their manifestation, tracing them back to the divine source within that specific context of feminine expression.
Death, the all-devouring, I'm called, in solemn truth, and future's origin from earliest youth. Among women, fame and prosperity, grace divine, speech, memory, intelligence softly shine. Steadfastness and forgiveness, too. These noble qualities from me accrue.
Music, meter, and seasons.
Stanza 35, verse 35.
Of melodies, Brihatsaman's grandest song. Of meters, Gayatri, sweet and ever strong. Of months, Margashirsha, November, December, foremost of the year. Of seasons, flowery spring, serene and clear, and heart's state blooming, evergreen, so dear.
Among melodies from the Samaveda, which grants equanimity, he's the Brihatsaman, the most potent song.
Among meters and hymns, he's the Gayatri revered, potent, associated with light and invocation. Among months, Margashirsha considered auspicious, foremost.
Among seasons, spring beauty, vitality, renewal, and the ode links it to the heart state blooming.
Of melodies, Brihatsaman's grandest song. Of meters, Gayatri, sweet and ever strong. Of months, Margashirsha, November, December, foremost of the year. Of seasons, flowery spring, serene and clear, and heart state blooming, evergreen, so dear. Now another intriguing one, including competition.
Stanza 36, verse 36.
I am the gambling of deceit, concealed and sly, the splendor of the splendid, reaching to the sky. I am victory, true and bold, in valiant strife, determination, practical intelligence, guiding life. The goodness and vitality of the good, their essence rife.
Gambling of deceit, how does that fit? Okay, this one is striking. Gambling of deceit.
Yes, a classic example. He identifies with the most potent, effective element, even in a negative category like deceitful gambling. It means the power, the skill, the sheer effectiveness used, even if misused, draws its fundamental energy from the divine source. It's about the origin of potency, not an endorsement of deceit.
Okay, that makes sense. He's also the splendor of the splendid peak magnificence, victory.
Right, the source of success and determination clarified as practical intelligence, the quality needed to pursue goals effectively, persevere, linking back to decisive intelligence in stanza 5.
And he's the goodness and vitality of the good, the core principle, the energy that makes goodness powerful and alive.
So the core idea, divine source behind all potency and effectiveness, even misused, positive outcomes, victory, qualities enabling success, determination, and the essence making goodness vital.
Challenges you, listener, to see the divine source of all capacity, while also highlighting glory and positive qualities leading to success and progress, a nuanced view of power.
Force.
I am the gambling of deceit, concealed and sly, the splendor of the splendid reaching to the sky. I am victory, true and bold, in valiant strife, determination, practical intelligence, guiding life, the goodness and vitality of the good, their essence rife.
And now a very personal turn. Stanza 37, verse 37. Of Vrishnis, Vasudeva, Krishna, my own name. Of Pandavas, Arjuna, also known as Dhananjaya, known to fame. Of sages, Vyasa, wise and deep profound. Of poets, Ushana, who grants poetic entry, well-renowned.
Bringing it very close now. Human lineages, key figures in the dialogue itself.
Among Vrishnis, his own clan, he is Vasudeva, Krishna, identifying with his own name and lineage. Among Pandavas, he is Arjuna, Dhananjaya.
Wow. That's incredibly personal for Arjuna. Reinforces that idea from chapter 9, the devotee becomes akin to the Lord. Arjuna himself is a divine glory.
Absolutely. Among sages, he's Vyasa, compiler of Vedas, author of Bhagavad Gita, supreme wisdom, source of this narrative. Among poets, he's Ushana, master of poetic skill, representing glory in artistic creation.
So divine glory in human lineages, in the seeker himself, Arjuna, in the source of sacred narrative, Vyasa, and in creative excellence, Ushana.
This is so empowering for you, listener. If Arjuna, the struggling seeker, can be a divine glory through his relationship and receptivity, it implies your own sincere journey can also be a reflection of that glory. Of Vrishnis, Vasudeva, Krishna, my own name. Of Pandavas, Arjuna, also known as Dhananjaya, known to fame. Of sages, Vyasa, wise and deep, profound. Of poets, Ushana, who grants poetic entry, well-renowned. It connects the divine speaker directly to the divine listener, implying the divine presence is right there in the dialogue itself.
That collapses any distance completely. The divine is in the speaker, the listener, the text.
And finally, governance and ultimate knowing.
Stanza 38, verse 38.
The scepter of punishers I am beheld, the power of policy and justice sealed, the silence of secrets hidden from the gaze, the knowledge of the knowing complete in all its ways, direct realization through its brilliant haze.
So the authority that maintains order, scepter policy, the silence holding hidden truths, and ultimately the knowledge of knowing itself, direct realization.
It covers the spectrum from societal structure to the unmanifest to the highest state of consciousness. The divine permeates all levels.
The scepter of punishers I am beheld, the power of policy, injustice sealed, the silence of secrets, hidden from the gaze, the knowledge of the knowing, complete in all his ways, direct realization, through its brilliant haze.
After that incredibly long and diverse list, he brings it all together with a powerful summary.
Okay, stanza 39, verse 39.
Whatever is the seed of every living thing that I am, Arjuna, life's source, from me they spring. No moving nor unmoving being can arise without my presence neath the watchful skies. Omnipresent by my grace alone, all beings thrive.
Back to the core idea. He is the seed, the source. Nothing exists without him. Omnipresent. This resonates so strongly with that idea from the chapter about grace potentially being like gravity, a fundamental unseen force from the unmanifest, holding everything, allowing structure, enabling thriving. It's the ultimate statement of pervasion.
Absolutely. He's the necessary condition for all existence, moving or unmoving, and existence itself is an act of his grace.
Whatever is the seed of every living thing that I am, Arjuna, life source, from me they spring. No moving nor unmoving being can arise without my presence neath the watchful skies. Omnipresent, by my grace alone, all beings thrive.
He reminds Arjuna again about the scope.
Stanza 40, verse 40.
My divine glories truly have no end. This brief account to you I gently send. My glories are infinite, beyond all measure, vast and wide.
This brief account, after that huge list, he emphasizes again, his glories are infinite. This was just a glimpse.
Just a taste, to give a sense of the boundless reality. The list isn't the reality, it points towards it.
My divine glories truly have no end. This brief account to you I gently send. My glories are infinite, beyond all measure, vast and wide.
But he gives a practical takeaway, a rule of thumb.
Good. Stanza 41, verse 41.
Whatever glorious, prosperous, or strong you find, know that from my splendor spark, its source is signed.
That's the key instruction then. Look for anything glorious, prosperous, or strong, anything excellent, and see it as a spark of his splendor.
Precisely. It's the method for recognizing the vibhutis in everyday life. Find the excellence, find the peak expression, and connect it back to the divine source. It's a way to sanctify your perception of the world.
Whatever glorious, prosperous, or strong you find, know that from my splendor's spark, its source is signed.
And the final verse puts the scale into perspective in a truly mind-blowing way.
Stanza 42, verse 42.
What use is much detail for thee to know? By but one fraction I bestow my presence, holding all this vast domain, the universe where I forever reign.
Okay, hold on. He holds up the entire universe with just one fraction of himself.
That's what he says. It just crushes our sense of scale, doesn't it? It emphasizes the unimaginable vastness of the divine.
Wow.
What use is much detail for thee to know? By but one fraction I bestow my presence, holding all this vast domain, the universe where I forever reign.
Okay, wow. This statement from Krishna essentially asserts that the entire manifest universe is sustained, pervaded by just a small fraction of a greater divine power. So, I mean, it's one of the most profound and persistent mysteries in astrophysics, dark matter.
So you have this ancient chapter speaking of a fraction of divine power upholding the universe, with the rest remaining unseen.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have modern science discovering dark matter, this invisible substance providing the bulk of the gravitational pull, holding galaxies together, yet remaining entirely beyond our direct observation.
It's the vast majority of matter out there, and we can't even see it.
And consider its composition. Dark matter makes up about 27% of the universe.
27%.
Compared to that mere 5% of ordinary baryonic matter, that makes it almost 6 times more abundant than everything visible.
6 times.
Yeah.
And its role is just fundamental, utterly fundamental.
Yeah.
Without the immense gravitational pull of dark matter, galaxies would simply fly apart. They wouldn't hold their shape.
They'd just dissipate.
Exactly. It's the invisible gravitational glue holding the largest structures of the cosmos together. It represents the universe's underlying strength, operating quietly, entirely unseen, yet undeniably essential. What's truly compelling here is the functional alignment, the roles they play.
Yes.
Just as dark matter invisibly supports and structures the universe, the verse declares the universe is upheld by a fraction of a divine being, with the remainder unseen.
The parallels are stark.
And dark matter remains to this day beyond our direct observational capacity. We only know it by its gravitational effects. Similarly, the full extent of this divine nature in the verse is described as being beyond material comprehension,
Right.
with only a fraction manifested in our observable world. Both scenarios point to an unseen foundational reality that sustains and organizes the visible universe we perceive.
And here's the truly astonishing coincidence. The word Krishna in Sanskrit literally means dark.
Dark.
Ponder that for a moment. And what is even more compelling is that in Hinduism, the god of all gods is revered as Krishna, often depicted as having a dark complexion.
Often called Shyam, the dark one.
Exactly. This ancient name perfectly aligns with the modern scientific enigma of dark matter, an unseen force that underpins all cosmic structure. It feels like a cosmic whisper through millennia, a profound congruence.
It certainly does. It makes you pause. It leaves you speechless. The whole universe, just a fraction.
It does.
What use is much detail for thee to know?
Yeah.
By about one fraction I bestow my presence, holding all this vast domain, the universe, where I forever reign, from the core of our being to the grandest things in the cosmos. Quite something to think about.
It really is.
What an episode this has been. We explored Chapter 10, the Divine Glories, seeing how the Gita finds the divine in the excellence of the world, answering Arjuna's need for tangible ways to connect. And we've used these incredible metaphors from cosmology, gravity, dark matter, dark energy, to get a feel for how that pervasive divine grace might operate.
Yes. Feel how the Gita is building this understanding, layer by layer, of the deep interconnectedness of everything.
It definitely feels like building blocks, which leaves us with perhaps one final thought to ponder. Is the scientific quest for a unified theory also, in a way, a search for the kind of unifying principle the Gita calls the divine? Are science and spirituality ultimately looking for the same thing from different angles?
That's a profound question to carry with you. Is the search for physical unity also a search for spiritual unity?
Something to definitely keep thinking about. We really hope you found this deep dive into Chapter 10 and its cosmic resonances as fascinating as we did.
If you enjoyed this episode, please do subscribe so you won't miss our future explorations.
And please share the show with friends, family, anyone you think might connect with these ideas. Help us spread the word.
Thank you for joining us. Om Tat Sat.